Tales of the Jedi has been out for a bit now, so here's everything I loved about the first season, all about Ahsoka and Dooku. Starting with the first short, Life and Death, the animation and production quality is great right away. Something Star Wars animation has suffered from in the past is having recycled background characters and crowds, which I understand, even live action shows do that. I'm not saying that's bad, and it probably happens in Tales of the Jedi, but the Togruta villagers all look or feel unique, which is just a small detail that I appreciate. I love that Ahsoka's mother, Pav-Ti, resembles Ahsoka. She's not a direct copy, but you can tell they're related. I also like that Janina Gavankar from Battlefront 2 returned to Star Wars to provide Pav-Ti's voice. Gotta love baby Ahsoka. She's adorable, obviously, and Kevin Kiner's theme for Ahsoka comes in, but it sounds different, more rustic. I love that. Look at these little dog things, oh my gosh! They're like dog versions of Tuca cats, and I love them and want to squeeze them. I love the way the hunt is handled. Pav-Ti teaches Ahsoka not to fear death as a natural part of life, but she does shield her from the actual violence. Just this image of baby Ahsoka connecting with the apex predator of her planet without fear, it's beautiful. And then triumphantly riding home on its back. Look, I'm personally a little overloaded with Ahsoka stories, but I still thought this short was very moving. Dang it, Filoni, you got me again. Kevin Kiner's score coming back at the end with Ahsoka's theme, but sounding more like the one we hear in the Clone Wars series gives me chills. Getting into the first Dooku short, Justice, I love that Padawan Qui-Gon Jinn is voiced by Liam Neeson's son, Michael Richardson. That's just a fun detail. I love the harsh comparison of this episode. We begin all the shorts in a forest world full of life, and then we cut to what used to be a forest world, desolate and gray. I really like Senator Dagonet's son, a sheltered kid who saw how privileged he was and then immediately sides with his kidnappers, vowing to do what he can to improve the lives of everyone his father represents. And I like Two-Ton the droid. I wish we had more screen time with him. The showdown between the villagers and the Senator's soldiers is built up so well, and I love seeing Dooku at this point, as someone who very clearly serves the people of the Republic. No, he shouldn't be using the Force to attack, but the moment is earned to the point where it is satisfying to watch Dooku touch the dark side to put that Senator in his place. But once you touch the dark side, it becomes easier and easier to do it again in the future. I love seeing Dooku interacting with Qui-Gon at this point, seeing them friendly, seeing them teach one another. I would honestly watch a whole series about the two of them together, even though we know it's going to end tragically because that's just 2 shorts away. In choices, teaming up Dooku with Mace Windu is a great choice. Seeing Dooku follow his instincts, which the Jedi say you should do, but he's bumping up against the rule follower to end all rule followers, I don't know how more clearly you could get the point of this episode across. I love seeing the beginnings of the separatist movement taking place on Raxus Secundus, where the Confederacy of Independent Systems capital will eventually be held, and of course Dooku will eventually be leading that faction. I also love that Dooku was involved in 2 encounters with people who became more and more extreme as they simply struggled to get their senators to actually represent them. The fight with the soldiers is so cool, seeing Mace and Dooku using the Force side by side, toppling trees over, jumping through the dust. I love it all. I do have questions about Ki-Adi-Mundi and how he puts on his hood. Is it separate from his robe? It looks like it might be. I just want to see him struggle to put his robes on over his giant head. But back to the somber stuff, I love that it seems like Dooku was passed over for a seat on the Jedi Council, like this mission was a test for him and Mace, and whoever followed the rules better would get the seat. The way Dooku calls Mace kind at the end is chilling. I love that the Sith Lord short takes place at the same time as the Phantom Menace. It adds a whole extra level of depth to Dooku's fall and betrayal, especially when you take Qui-Gon's death into account. Speaking of, I will never not be psyched to see Liam Neeson return to play or voice the character. I loved hearing his voice again. And let's give it up for Yaddle. I loved seeing her get some of the spotlight as well, even if it does end... well, let's save that for later. Wow, do I love the scene of Dooku standing at the tree in the Jedi Temple. Speaking of taking Qui-Gon to visit it as a boy, it's a good reminder that every Jedi Master and Padawan relationship was more than just student and teacher. It was surrogate parent. Dooku basically raised Qui-Gon through his adolescence. You can really feel his sadness and his pain at the loss of his friend. Kevin Kiner's music as Dooku heads into the Works District on Coruscant is haunting, fantastic stuff. And then Kiner's music again continues to be chilling. I don't know what that sound is while Dooku and Sidious talk, but it reminds me of some of the evil music from the Lord of the Rings trilogy. The lightsaber fight between Dooku and Yaddle is fantastic. I was on the edge of my seat for this. The finale with Dooku dropping the door on her made my jaw drop. But then her triumphant, although brief return. The door blocks out the light until she opens it back up. The light even makes Palpatine recoil. Yeah, you can shut the door on the light side, but it's always there, just outside. You just have to let it in. Of course, Dooku doesn't, and never will again, but this whole sequence kicked so much ass. And shout out to Sidious for looking about as evil as he ever has. There are some great shots of him. In practice makes perfect. I love that Ahsoka is first stunned by Jesse, the clone that will eventually lead the execution of Order 66 against her in the final episodes of the Clone Wars. I love the transitions throughout this short from Ahsoka's early character model to the second one with 2 lightsabers, and finally to her Siege of Mandalore outfit. Same with the clones going from Phase 1 to 2. In the final short, Resolve, I love that Ahsoka went to Padmé's funeral. It was cool seeing Bail Organa and Mon Mothma there as well. I really liked Bail talking to the clones while actually talking to Ahsoka, reminding her of what they both fight for and encouraging her to contact him if she ever needs help. I love that we can see she and Rex didn't immediately part ways after what happened in the Clone Wars. The design of the Imperial Inquisitor is sick. I love his mask, it's like a vulture. And once again, Kevin Kiner just goes off on the music for this sequence. It feels so much like an epic samurai or western standoff while mixing in some classic Clone Wars music. And that's everything I loved about Season 1 of Tales of the Jedi. Let me know some of your favorite aspects of the shorts in the comments. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.